My name is Bill Swantner. I'm a Texas A&M University AgriLife Extension Certified Volunteer Master Gardener. I belong to the Bexar County Master Gardener Association. As I've said before, this video is not endorsed, encouraged, supported by any Master Gardener Association, local or state level. This is simply me giving the highlights of the Texas Master Gardener Handbook, as I go through it. And I'm currently on chapter 3. And this is the second video of chapter 3. The first video was looking at plant categories and plant structure, the vegetative. And this is going to be plant structure, the reproductive. Plant structures, plant categories. Just a quick review. Again, my mind needs redundancy. That's how I remember things. Gymnosperms, the book doesn't spend any time on it, so that's all the time I'm going to spend on it. Angiosperms, those are the plants with flowers. There are monocots and there are dicots, and we'll see more about that in this video. In each monocots and dicots, you have annuals, biennials, and perennials. And the plant structure, just a real quick review, we have roots, which anchor the plant. They absorb water and nutrients. You have the stems, which support the plant, and it provides a vehicle or a vessel for the transpiration of water and nutrients from the roots up to the shoots, back to the roots. And it supports the plant so the plant can have flowers and fruits. And then there are the buds, and out of the buds will either come leaves, which we covered last time, the photosynthesis thing, or they'll have flowers, which is the continuation of species. And that's where we are today. It's the sexual, the structure of the flower. There are basically 4: flowers, fruits, seeds, and spores. The only purpose for a flower is for sexual reproduction. I think the straight out of the book, a continuation of the species. Color and fragrance attract pollinators, who in turn play an important role in the production of seed. Pollinators carry pollen from one plant to another, where the pollen can find its way to that plant's ovary. All right, parts of the flowers. You have the male, which is the pollen, the female, which is the ovule. You have the sepal or sepal, depends who you want to listen to. The sepal protects the buds. Calyx is more than one sepal. The petal, more than one petals, is a corolla or corolla. It's colored. It may contain perfume or glands. Here is where that monocot dicot thing comes in. Monocots will have 3 petals or groups of 3 petals, 3, 6, 9, 12, whatever. Dicots will have groups of 4 or 5 petals. All right. The pistil is the female part of the plant, and it contains the stigma, the style, and the ovary where the egg is. And I have a picture to show this to you. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but it's important that we have some idea how the plants are pollinated. Then there's the male part of the plant, which is the stamen, and it consists of the pollen sac, anther, and filament. So here is our diagram. Female stigma. Here's the style, and here is the ovary. And here's the petal and the sepal. All right, on the male side, it's the stamen. Here is the anther, and here is the filament. So there you have male and female. And this is really something just to hear, more than it is to memorize. The way I've learned that complete, incomplete, perfect, and perfect is there are certain plants that I need to know about. Other than that, I don't worry about complete, incomplete, perfect, imperfect. That's not really a concern of mine. All right, so the complete flowers. Complete flowers have all 4 basic parts: sepals, petals, stamens, and pistils. Some flowers are incomplete. That means that they lack one or more of the parts of sepals, petals, stamens, or pistils. A complete plant has all 4. An incomplete plant is missing 1 or 2. Incomplete flower is missing 1 or 2. Then you have perfect flowers. They contain both male and female part. They can self-pollinate. And then you have imperfect flowers, which have either male or female, and they require cross-pollination. Well, here are some complete flowers. Rose, hibiscus. They have all four parts. Sepals, petals, stamens, and pistils. These are incomplete plants. This is an oak tree. This is a Mexican sycamore. Look at that big, beautiful leaf. These are incomplete. These are perfect. They have both male and female parts. Bluebonnet, sunflower. These are imperfect. They do not have male and female. This is a pecan tree. This is, I believe, a bloom from a pumpkin vine. We did types of flowers. Now let's look at fruit. So this is a peach pit. Here we have the seed. The seed contains the endosperm, the embryo, and the seed coat. The seed coat protects the embryo. This is the embryo. The endosperm is food storage for the embryo, which is the seed. Then there is the endocarp. The endocarp is another layer of protection. And the fruit acts as the protection acts as a protective barrier for the embryo. In many cases, the fruit contains some stored sugars, which helps with the growth of the embryo. Let's take a look at the seed a little more carefully, or seeds more carefully. This is a monocot and a dicot. Monocot has parallel veins, flowers in groups, the flowering parts in groups of 3. A dicot has netted veins, and the flowering parts are groups of 4 and 5. All right. Here you have the embryo, the single cotyledon, the endosperm, which feeds the embryo, and the seed coat, which protects the entire seed. The only difference in that between the single cotyledon and monocotyledon is this starts to produce 2 leaves. The way this works, it's easier to see on the dicot. This, as the seed imbibes water, and that's not a word we use very much, but it means to take in water, the seed begins to swell, and this nutrition begins to this endosperm absorbs the water and starts to feed the embryo, and it starts to stretch. First will form the root, and then will form the leaves. All right, so we did fruit, we did seeds. The spores, and there's the spores, this is the fern. The spores are the reproductive cells, the structures that are typically single-celled, and they develop in a new plant without the need of fertilization. And if you wanted to propagate these, you would scrape these very gently onto a piece of paper, usually white, so you can see them, and then you put them into a pre-moistened pot. And then you seal that in a bag to make sure that moisture stays there. So anyway, that's spores. The book doesn't talk much about spores. All right. So what difference is so you have flowers, fruit, seeds, and spores. What difference does it make? Well, this complete, incomplete, perfect, imperfect. These differences took millions of years, where there were a lot of plants, a lot of flowers. The tendency could be the flower would be incomplete because it has a lot of cross-pollination. Cross-pollination gives you a lot of variety. Some of the plants who are self-pollinating, a theory is that there were not a lot of plants around to pollinate the plant. So as it evolved, it learned to reproduce itself, and that minimizes the diversity within that particular plant. So connecting the dots in this chapter, vegetative growth encompasses the non-reproductive parts of the plants: roots, stems, shoots, or root, stems, leaves, or flowers. And in this area is where photosynthesis takes place. nutrient absorption takes place, and overall health. You need to grow a healthy plant to have healthy fruit and flowers. The reproductive focuses just on the production of flowers, seeds, spores, or fruit that leads to the creation of a new plant. And when there's cross-pollination, you get more variety. When the plants self-pollinate, you get less variety. All right, so this is the second video. I hope it helps.